story is a perfect example of what our medical system has become. And I want to propose the idea that our old normal, there was a lot wrong with our old normal. There was a lot of normalization that just was absolutely wrong. And I want to acknowledge that I'm nervous, and I want to acknowledge the emotional intelligence of not only our children, but the men I see here. And I think I also have a background in psychotherapy and transpersonal psychotherapy, and what that means, transpersonal meaning when you heal yourself, when you share your stories, you have an effect on all of us because we're all connected. And we can see that through the core of every religion. And so I'm going to tell you my sister's story, but I'll tell you my story first. And I've heard a similar story from many people here. And it's, I had what I call my bio-spiritual awakening in my early 20s when I got very sick. And it was through that I learned the importance of what we put into our bodies. And when I was sick and went to my doctor and tried to talk to them about nutrition, she actually said to me, "We're not going to talk about that because I didn't learn that in medical school." Now, I was a meek 20-year-old or 25-year-old, so I didn't say anything. Now I would say, "What, do you think science stops after you graduate?" And what I discovered was that a lot of our very nature has been demonized, right? So I was a cannabis activist for many years. I supplied cannabis medicine to cancer patients who needed them. And I got really angry because I looked into the whole cancer epidemic, right? 1 in 2 men will get cancer in their lifetime. 1 in 2 women will get cancer in their lifetime. And I read a book called Cancergate by Dr. Samuel Epstein. And what sticks out for me in that, and this speaks to the corporate absolute tyranny that's been going on for decades. And we can trace it back all the way to the 1920s with the Rockefellers establishing the American Medical Association, which is still a private organization. And what I did was I forced my doctor to look at the issue. And this is what I want to encourage you, and we've heard that from many people here, is to put yourself out there and talk to people, and your doctor is a really good person to talk to. And the way I forced my doctor to look at the issue is I said to him, you know, I've dealt with depression all my life. And I wrote him a 17-page letter on cannabis medicine. And I told him about how my sister's body has been completely wrecked by modern medicine. Elizabeth had her first epileptic seizure 20 minutes after her first vaccines. From then on, I've heard this story many times, that she is not the only one. There's millions out there. People don't understand that a minority can be millions. That's what they don't understand. And I forced him to look at the issue by framing it that way, and you know, he was very kind and very gracious with me and accepted my anger, and I so appreciate that. And what I found in the book I was telling you about by Dr. Epstein that forced me to look at the issue and forced me to do the hard work of talking to my doctor. I was not looking forward to it, but was that there is a huge chemical company called the Imperial Chemical Company, and Dr. Epstein, who has dedicated his life to identifying carcinogenics, went to that company and said, "You're using this chemical in everything from toilet paper to fertilizer, and it's carcinogenic. And here's something that costs less and we'll work for you. And they refused. And why did they refuse? Because when he looked into it, they also owned pharmaceutical companies where their main source of income was chemotherapy drugs. And that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a system that has been corrupt for many, many years. So I propose we make our own new normal that respects natural medicine, which was here way before allopathic medicine. Cannabis is a wonderful example of the kind of brainwashing that can happen, right? Here's a plant that our bodies are actually programmed to receive. We have an endocannabinoid receptor system that receives cannabinoids that actually regulate every function in the body. Mother's milk actually produces the same sort of THC cannabinoid to soothe the baby and make it hungry. And it was in the pharmacopoeia before the 1930s and was prescribed from everything from colic to headache to cancer. And it was stolen from us. And Terence McKenna said it really well when he said, the idea of a plant being illegal and kept from humanity is just absolutely obnoxious, right?
Yes, yes,